Today's another day. Today's plan is to firstly finish off the sonar, repositioning the sonar on the bottom of the boat so that it lines up, and that'll sort of finish off all the cabling and make it all nice and neat and tidy. Then we've just put together the solar frame from the recycling frame that I had from the other boat. We cut that up and made it into a smaller frame. So we're going to finish that off, get it ready for powder coating, and we've also done the step extension so that it's make it safer. So we're going to try and fit that back into place today, get that sorted, and hopefully get that ready for powder coating as well. Let's get into it. Just making up a bigger bracket to bolt through for the sonar, so we'll go and give that a bit of a tidy up on the sander. Well, it's going to work, but I'm going to need a second pair of hands. While I'm waiting, I've tried to get my sonar brackets mounted, but I can't do that. I need a second pair of hands, so I phoned a friend, waiting for him to ring back to see if he can come and help me. But in the meantime, I'm going to go back in the shed and just fit off the solar panels, or the solar panel, with the frame we made last night. Now the solar panel, I made the frame a bit tight, but I've just put it over the planer over here. Just ran it over the planer and just took a mil or two off each side, which doesn't affect the panel because it's just plastic, so it comes off easy and it fits quite snug now. So anyway, we'll go and get set up for that and we'll have a crack. There's our panel that we did, and as you can see, it's come up not too bad. It looks a bit daggy at the minute. I'm just going to give it a bit of a polish up with the flapper blade and just knock down some of the welds, flatten them off a bit so that the panel will sit in nice and relatively flat. This type of panel don't have their own frame, so you can stick them down straight onto the roofs, but they do like, and they are more efficient if they're just a bit off the roof or off the surface that they're going to, just to let a bit of air underneath them. They don't get so hot, and when they're not so hot, they're much more efficient, so I'm told. So that's what we'll do. We'll just get a flapper blade now and we'll give this a bit of a clean up, and then we'll try the paneling. I'm not going to worry too much about these dollops in the corner. I can flatten them off with a little grinding tool, but the reality is I need a bit more meat there because I'm actually going to drill a hole through there to bolt the panel in, so you won't see it. There's a big hole, so they'll actually come up into the hole, so they'll still sit flat in the frame. As I said before, there's a 400 watt panel. Well, at least it sold as that. And as you can see, I've just planed it a little bit, just to give a little bit of breathing space. They'll expand a little bit in the heat, but they just need not to be super tight, just to give them a bit of room to go with. So, as you can see here, the little dollops of aluminium weld, they're sticking up in those holes which we're going to bolt through, so it still sits nice and flat. So we need to drill those holes, and then we'll put the side rails on and drill some holes in that too. These are the side rails we're going to use. So we'll see how that goes. I've already drilled a few holes just to mark it, and I'm probably going to pop rivet or bolt that to the roof. Just finger gauge and 10mm down for my bolt holes. You can see what's going on here. We've just got that side bracket. This will all be powder coated satin black. I think so. Maybe go white, don't know, probably black. But as you can see, I've got my cavity under there, so I've got the air circulating under there. We just got our bolts will go down through the holes there, and I'll put a stainless, all the bolts will be stainless steel. And they'll all have big flat washers on them, which will hold it in place. And if anything happens, you have to replace the panel, well, it's easy to do. So I'm pretty happy with that, as it is, considering that when I started looking at pimping this boat, I didn't think I could get any solar on it, because obviously I'm not stripping out the whole inside of it, like on my other boat. But that was a massive job. But anyway, at least with this one now, we've got a solar panel there, 400 watts, as I bought it as 400 watt. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but at least it gives you a trickle charge into the batteries, and as well as running the motors and 240 volt coming in if you're in a caravan park or running a generator or something like that. You got all those trickle charge in your batteries. But I think with this solar panel with 12 volt batteries, with the 12 volt battery on the water in summer, you're not going to have any problems, because really you're only going to be basically running lights inside the cabin, maybe some fans, and that'll be it, because your cooking is going to be gas anyway. So unless you've got a generator you can plug in, and hopefully when I finish the back bin where we're shifting the sonar, that'll have a absolute shit ton of space there to put a small generator in there that you just pull out and plug in if you want to, optional. Anyway, this is done now. I've just got to clean it up, get it ready for powder coating, and I'll get a few other parts done as well, and then we can take a carload of stuff over and get powder coated. I'm just back inside the boat, and I'm just going to try and see how these step modifications work. I've got them sitting in place, as you can see. Sitting in place, I've got plenty of clearance here, and we'll do the shoe test. So as you can see, compared to what it was before, we've come forward. Nothing's changed. I still have to unclip it to get into the battery box, but that takes less than a minute to do. So all I've got to do now is put the clips back in and drill some holes just in the sides there. And that should be good to go, to give it a test. Very small bolts, very difficult with fat fingers. one down, one to go. But I better find me bolt, me nut first. See if it works. Needs a little bit of a tweaking. I think we'll have to take that off, set it up and just re-drill that hole a little bit. And it should be okay. Just putting a couple of screws in here just to hold that, but when it's all finished there's a little clip that goes over there like a folded up piece of metal and just stops that moving forward, takes the pressure off those two pins at the back. It won't go anywhere. There we go, that's it. That's it. It's all done. As I said, it passed the shoey test, as you can see. Much better, plenty of clearance, much safer. And then I've got the cover that goes in over the front there, and just it's got two bolts and it just sits down on the floor. That's why I extended that floor, because that cover was not right on, it was behind that ply. So it was actually dropping down into that cavity, so I've just put that bit in there and that'll carry the vinyl tiles through and or the vinyl planks through, and then that cover will just sit nice on the top there, cover up the bilge pump. Anyway, that's come up pretty good. Just had a delivery, so hopefully it's something for me, not for the boss. Not what I thought. These are my new table legs. Whether they work. So, at least when I set the bed up, it'll be much better. It'll be the right height. It'll fold down properly. That's for another day. Because of the length of the boat, which is with my car is about 17 metres. I think the Ram's 7 metres, the boat's about 9, yeah, so about 17 and a half metres. Maybe 18 by the time you allow for your props on the back of the boat. Because of that, and it's the same with caravans as well, you're certain lengths and that, you're supposed to have one of these signs because of the length, and it's supposed to be down on the, well, my understanding is left hand corner on the rear. So I'm going to stick this on. I've just put a bead of silicone around the back. It'll never come off, won't get any water behind it. Not that it's a real issue, but you just don't want water sitting behind metal, I don't think anyway. We'll just let that tack off a little bit and then I'll just clean it with a bit of terps, just a little bit of excess. And that'll be fine. when it's going along that might get splashed with a bit of water, but it's all aluminium, won't hurt at all. Just want to show you how the loading wheels work. As you can see, that's standing up there. There's 4 of these, 2 at the back, 2 at the front, and they just retract out from down here. That just slides out of here, and there's just a pin that goes in there, which is just here. There's the pin that goes in, so when it's in travel mode, the wheel faces back towards the front of the boat, underneath the boat, and then when it's in load mode, and the pin goes through, and then in load mode it's the same thing. So as you can see, the pins go through. It's a pretty good setup. The only thing is that what they've done here is they've got a big dirty stinking 6mm RHS running from one side of the boat to the other. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't make it very strong, but there's actually no need to have that much steel. On my boat, I've only got a section here, because you've only got to hold that in place, and it's de-shackled onto the chassis, so it's more than enough. So I'm actually going to mark these, pull this out, mark this, and cut a section out. And I'm hoping that the weight I save will compensate for things like the microwave and a couple other bits and pieces that I've put in. A little bit of variation between the weight of the carpet that I ripped up and the vinyl planking. So I'm just thinking, I'm hoping to get 20 odd kilos potentially out of each piece of this that I cut out. So we'll get organised and do some marking and climb under there with the angle grinder, perhaps have a crack. I'll cut these from this side now before I climb in underneath, so I don't have to double dip then. Hopefully line the cuts up. Now I've just got my shed scales out, and they're accurate because they're only new. I've just got that piece of steel I've cut out, and I even cut a little bit off the risers, like the actual loading rails, just a little bit because they were a bit long. And I said it'd be at least 20 kilos. Now that is about 18 kilos. So it's 36 kilos I've taken out. That'll more than cover the extra bits and pieces I've put on. Happy days. Now I've finished off cutting that steel out, and I just wanted to show you the difference. So they're the legs that slide out and go up for the loading. So as you can see, it doesn't make any difference. There's still plenty of steel there to hold that in place on those D-shackles, and it's the same up the other end. There was 4 of them. So it was just absolute waste of resources and weight, and as you saw on the scales, it was 36 kilos, and that compensates for the few things I'm doing extra, like the little bit of weight difference in the vinyl to the carpet, the microwave, just a couple of things like that. And it just, you know, every kilo counts. And while we're here, I've finished the sonar. I've repositioned the sonar, and I've just put a little clip on here, which was salvaged off one of the safety rails that I took off. I've put that plug in that you saw me do before, and then I've just run the cable in underneath the back of the motor there, all nice and neat. So that's done. 2 more jobs finished. Parcels are arriving. All the stuff I've ordered for this project. As long as it keeps coming, it keeps me going. If I run out of stuff, I can't keep getting the jobs done.